Hey, yo, this is Benzino. Right now, you checking out Top Flight TV.
Cool. We in the building, man. Hey, look, first and foremost, man, I'm excited to have you here.
Appreciate
Straight
it.
up and down.
Hell yeah.
I got a lot of respect for you.
No, I appreciate the love. You know that, for
Straight
real.
up, man.
Nah, that means a lot.
Indeed. The integrity that you show, the way you standing on business in a lot of these situations.
Right.
I got no. It's not a lot of people out here today in the industry, around the industry.
Well, we come from the same type of situation. It's not too. One thing I noticed, between the culture, it ain't different. We come from the same set of rules in life. Like if we connect like that, then that just means the way we come up, wherever we came, we still niggas. You know what I'm saying? And we alike. So it's either, I think the thinking that you're saying or anything, and I appreciate it, but it's only because, I feel the same way from you, because automatically we on the same page, because it ain't like I just be out here just talking to be talking, or just trying to just say something, say something. The internet made everything, the internet kind of like puts a fire on everything. I notice and I get it, but I've been around a long time, and anything that I do speak is only from experience or from knowledge of it. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate it.
Nah, absolutely, man. Speaking of geographics, man, you are from Boston.
Yeah, I'm from the Bloody Bean.
Right. I'm from the DMV.
Okay, no doubt.
So let me ask you, have you ever done any business, or do you have any DMV stories that you would share?
A lot of guys, I've been around for a long time, so every time we were signed to Tommy Boy, I think that was our first, like the RSO, the Almighty RSO, and from there we went to RCA. From there we was Flavor Unit. So each year we would be like, they would put you on the Bible Belt tour, where you get in the van and you go to the motels, and it's 1 room, 2 rooms per person. You know what I'm saying? Like in the days, and we would always come through DC and Baltimore. And it's crazy because I'm just now realizing this. This is crazy. I've learned something. I'm gonna go back to that, but I've learned something today that I didn't know, that Maryland is under the Mason-Dixon line. So Maryland really is the beginning of the South, and I didn't know that. And then I started doing more research, and it was saying how Maryland had slaves in the South. But since Baltimore was so north up and close to DC, it kind of branched out, because that's where all the black people were. So, but back to my story, every time we came through, we always went through DC, go, that's my style from it, and then Baltimore, like house music, or Delaware, you know what I'm saying, house music. And I remember we would do that every year. And I never did no Fed time, but all my guys, you know what I'm saying, and my brother Pork locked up now, Free Porky. They all got guys up in there from DC, you know what I'm saying, up in the feds and shit, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I know, rest in peace, Chucky Thompson, you know what I'm saying? Like that was my guy. Me and Chuck had a real relationship, man, and a great dude too. What's up, Joe? My man, he got a studio up in, my man Poe, up in Atlanta, got a studio. Listen, DC niggas, Boston niggas, we ain't too far. Philly niggas, New York niggas, Jersey. I know geographically it's different, but we really are the same, We talk different, of course, Y'all say T. Indeed.
That's Baltimore.
It's Baltimore. Okay, all right.
Hey, so somebody always want to ask, the RSO, Mike Almighty RSO, how did y'all come together? And what was your role in the group?
Oh, man.
And how did you assume that leadership role?
Because listen, I came because I was born in Boston, but on my father's side is in the Bronx and Brooklyn, so I be getting shipped like 4 or 5 months out the year, summers, vacations, to my grandmother and grandfather's house. My grandmother, she couldn't speak no English. She was full-blooded Puerto Rican, so it was hard for me to stay with her because she just a communication thing. And if I didn't speak Spanish, she'd have this big-ass ruler. I thought a ruler was a foot. This had to be like a 3-foot ruler. She'd tear my ass up. I'd be like, I want to stay with my grandfather. So my grandfather stayed in the South Bronx. And he had a son, older. So me and Eddie was like 2 years apart, my uncle. And he had a house on Cedar Avenue, which I didn't know the significance which was only like 4 to 5 blocks over from Sedgwick, which is where hip hop, Kool Herc, started. And I just remember that he had a house, and with it, my grandfather, he was a working guy. My father was a street guy, but my grandfather was a working man, and he made needles that went on, that played the vinyl. He would take the diamonds and then make them into those are diamonds. People don't realize that on the turntables when you put the record on, in order for it to play, that thing that you put it turns, that's a diamond. And so he cut those. And so he had a garage with all that equipment, this ill equipment to cut diamonds, man. God bless him. And Eddie's room was in the basement. He had the house, Eddie had the basement. It wasn't a finished basement, you know, like basements back then, and it was like, your walls looked like mountainsides, you know what I'm saying? But he had like, this when Bruce Lee was out. I was like 10, 11 years old. Bruce Lee, he had all over Bruce Lee CB radios. Okay. That was a thing. I remember my father in the Fed joint making me, he was sending out belts, you know what I'm saying, like leather belts and shit, you know what I'm saying, and he made me and Eddie one, and I never forget. So Eddie had 2 turntables, and he had that song, To Be Real. Mm-hmm. And he had the original Apache, the bongo band, which I always wanted, like Apache, down, like down, 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 down. So I always wanted, since bongos are big in DC, I always wondered if they really got onto that. I think the Incredible Bongo Band, I think that's the name they was. But he taught me how to scratch. And then from there, I went back to Boston. I was like, I need my own crew. And he had a crew, 3 the Hard Way. And that shit was crazy to me. I'm young. Then I seen Wild Style later on, a couple years later, and I just had to get involved. So, back then I would go, I was doing my thing, my 1-2. So I had money, so I would buy these big Sherwin Vega speakers. And I remember watching Harry Hippie and the Bad Daddies, the Jamaican niggas. They would take whole dresser drawers and gut them and put 2 18 subwoofers and come out in the park and just blast that shit. Hook up the electricity and the lights or in an abandoned crib. And yeah, man, like it was, hip hop got into me early as fuck, and I loved every bit of it. I seen all the movies, went to the Fresh Fest, stole a car, went to the Fresh Fest, because they wasn't letting hip hop in Boston. So we had to drive to Providence, Rhode Island, and shit, we stole a car. A Datsun B210, I remember the car, yellow. A Datsun B, and on the way back got caught. State trooper kicked my whole front tooth out, you know what I'm saying? Like threw me on the ground and kind of hit my head so my tooth chipped out. But we got caught that night. And coming back, but we seen the show and shit, it was crazy. So, I loved hip hop, you know what I'm saying? And as New York was progressing in it, we were only a couple of hours away, you know what I'm saying? But, we try and do our thing, and then people around the city started rapping, and I just put my crew together, and next thing you know, we was the Almighty RSO.
So y'all got to be the Almighty RSO. What was it like creeping into the industry? Like the stardom of it all, from going from being in the hood, being where you was at, to creeping up, mingling with other artists, and the rise of the group.
I mean, that was our dream. Like we all dreamed of that. We would see, because after you go and see the Fresh Fest, that's it. You're like, I want to do that. I want to be that. Like them niggas was, see, when Running Them came out, they had the niggas on the stage, like, who wasn't rapping. So that's the first time I seen that. Them niggas looked like they was just posted there. So that whole image always stuck, like, and then Running Them's rapping, and they got the all black on with the gangster hats, but they're on the side. And they like posting up, and that shit looked so like, that shit got in my soul and it never left. So, you know what I'm saying? When we used to do block parties, I started as a DJ. My DJ name was Rock Shock and Ray Dog. You know what I'm saying? My name was, I wasn't Benzino, I was Dog. Niggas was calling me Dog all my life, all my young life. And, cause my name is Raymond, so Ray Dog. And yeah, like there was nothing better than that, scratching. And because at that point, you can't do that now. You just can't take speakers and put them on your block and just rock out. We was doing that shit. See, a lot of this whole generation will never know what that is. Because that right there is what, if don't believe me, that is the essence of hip hop. No money, nothing, just getting your shit on the block with everybody in the hood, come out, 500,000 people smoking, blasting that shit. Like, what the fuck is better than that? Like, what's the more essence of that? And that's what it was. We fell in love with everybody doing their thing. Of course there was gonna be some shootouts. Of course there was gonna be some issues. It happens, you know what I'm saying? But the bottom line was we was able to congregate, we was able to enjoy each other, and we was able to feel the vibes of something that previously we hadn't felt before. There was nothing like that being felt. There wasn't nothing coming out the speakers that was making you feel like that. Then that night when it was time to rap, all the MCs who were dope, if you did not know how to rap, see the difference with now and then, everybody tried to rap. They don't even give a fuck now. You just gotta be a personality on the internet. Back then, you wouldn't even dare go motherfucking next to that DJ motherfucking table. You wouldn't do it. And everybody looking and staring right there at night. You know what I'm saying? The killers, the drug dealers, the women, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So you wouldn't even go over there. Only the worthy came over there and ripped that shit. And then, mind you, a DJ's only playing fucking 4, 5, 6 seconds of a fucking beat going back and forth, and niggas is just ripping it, and there's nobody's messing up. Like, come on, man. Like, if you ain't experienced that, unfortunately, you really haven't experienced hip hop, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because I've never felt, I've done a lot in hip hop. And there's been a lot of highs, been some lows. But that, right, when I look back at it now, especially at this age, I'm like, damn, man, I would love to go back to that. I would love for us to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So speaking of hip hop and how free it is, and how that's one thing that nobody can take from us. If I want to go and start a party tonight, and I want to set up and have a hip hop party, the industry, nobody can take my money from me. Nobody can control it. So I want to ask you, how do you feel? Because it seems like we, as a culture, we don't own a lot of this industry.
oh, well.
Right? We don't own the festivals. Very few festivals are ran by us. A lot of the media, a lot of the stuff that people are capitalizing off the most. We don't own hardly any of the shit. How do you feel about that?
Well,
and what do you feel like we need to do in order to get a piece of that big pie?
Well, I mean, that's a great question. You know, the answer is deep, of course. It has so many layers to it, the answer. And the solution is, the solution in a nutshell is we have to be able to come together to realize that we're the ones who are the creative. If the creative is what starts it, the creative, you know what I'm saying, is and we are the creative, and everything else grabs from the creative when they want to do it. The problem is we're just not organized as a culture and community. In order to start a career, back in the days, if you had a label, the bottom line was, I mean, it's who had the money. If the white people have the money, at that time, a lot of them were Jewish, then they know you have absolutely nothing. You're coming from absolutely nothing. You have nothing. Your family, your mother, your grandmother. There's 3 generations in a house that has nothing. They're looking, I mean, that's 3 generations on how you look at it. The kid, the thing, and the grandmother. So if there's no finances there, then you're a hell of a singer or a hell of a musician, then they're gonna dangle a little bit in front of you. You're gonna take it, and they're gonna fuck you over. Now, everything in that industry is based on trust, and the trust has been broken absolutely almost every time. You would think by now that motherfuckers would know that that's what goes on. But we're still in the phase that we're doing so bad that whatever somebody's gonna give us, that we're gonna take it and say, fuck it, I'll deal with whatever happens later. Now, you didn't deal with you blowing the fuck up, making zillions of dollars, and them owning everything. You didn't know that because of your desperation. And I'm not saying there was anything the matter with it, because most of the times, artists, a lot of times when you grow up in the hood, man, you have people who are educational, you have athletes, and you have artists who are talented. Usually, that's it for each one. The education is education. Athletes, they just the ball, and the artists are just artists. So the artist lacks in education and athletics. The athletics lacks in talent and You know what I'm saying? So that's what happens. Education is not going to be an artist's strong point.
Right.
And these people take advantage of their desperation to feed themselves and their family. And it's been going on since the beginning of time, since the beginning of the music industry. What we have to do is first, if the trust has been broken so bad between the culture that I don't know if that will ever be repaired at this point. See, because I've lived in the 70s, 80s, 90s, like I know the difference. We're at a point now where it's pretty bad as far as socially and the love we have for one another and the respect and the organization and the leadership. It's like we're at an all-time low right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
How much of a part do you think, the Diddy's and the Jay-Z, the big guys at the top, do you feel like they have been given an incentive not to elevate the culture to a certain degree, or how much of a factor do you think our own elites have in that?
I would hope not to think that they're not doing it on purpose, but I hope they're not naive to think that that's not also, that there's not an agenda involved too.
Right.
I know they can't be that naive. Not saying that they have a hand in it, who knows, you know what I'm saying? Because you just can't assume those things unless you kind of catch the hand in the cookie jar. But you'd have to be naive to think like they've been in this game this long and they've made it to the elite level to like agendas play into part where influence is. Where money and influence is, agendas have to be taken up. Because money's one thing, but influence. These white kids, like when there's that type of influence, it can get dangerous. When the white kid's influence is a black man, it could really get, that's what they think. So they have to kind of put a cap on certain things just to make sure that don't happen. I mean, it looks like the whole, when you look at everything, right, it just looks like the whole, the guy that grew up in the hood, like the man, like the straight man that grew up in the hood, and that came from the hood, that didn't have no college education, that really been out there in and out of jail, but still is able to make money and still able to do some things because it's like we're the last men on the totem pole. We're the ones that they don't want around. It just seems like that. You know what I'm saying? So, because even hip hop now, even looking at the BET Awards, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like the BET Awards is like, man, like it's the BET Awards is still a great show for the culture, but it has to be more balanced. We got to balance it more with more men and men like us. Because it's men like us that they love. The ladies love men like us. See, that's what they got. See, people got to realize that it's us who the ladies love. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? So while they're trying to kind of keep us out of the programming, keep us out of the vision, keep us out of everything, they don't want us. Because, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I think is kind of messing, is throwing off the balance of what's entertainment out there. Because it's being saturated with women.
Man, let me ask you, I didn't watch the awards, but I saw the highlights. And all I saw, and I'm not mad at it, I don't mind, but it looked like just a strip club. Like, all the performers.
I just know.
It was let me ask you, what do you think this is about? It seems like all the top rappers are women, and I'm not mad at that, but it just seems like it's an agenda of some sort. What do you think that comes from?
You know it don't seem. There's nothing, I don't even believe seem that word shouldn't even exist.
Okay.
It is what it is. And we go back from BET was always the award show that would kind of put us, like, no matter what's going on in our ratchet in the culture and everything, BET was like, this is what we are. And they showed us in such a classy, amazing light for everybody to love, because the older people they're not into that. The older people and the people that are like in their 50s and 60s and the professionals, they're not into what would be. Back in the day, they probably was. They'd always have a legend up there. I mean, the Wyclef and Lauryn Hill thing was dope, you know what I'm saying? So it's like but it's just when you look at the BET Awards from what it was then, first of all, it wasn't too much rap. I mean, they have a rap award, so my thing is, and again, no knock on BET, because BET is us. We need BET. But I'm just saying, you have the rap awards, leave that for that. But still make this something that we can be proud of, that we can look beyond what we're seeing every single swipe on every single 7 seconds of our wrist. Like, come on, man, you gotta balance it. Our minds are like computers, man. You keep feeding it certain shit, then people are gonna be burnt out.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see people getting burned out. It's definitely
It's too much.
too much. There's no balance.
It's too much.
We had Lil Kiss, we had Foxy Brown.
Yeah,
we had,
right.
Lauryn Hill, and we had MC
It was
Lyte.
balance. And then we had men, we had great, I mean, it was just, and I'm saying like, listen, R&B and men is big still. Like Brent Faiz should have been up there getting the, he's dope. Like what happened to him? There's so many dope guys out there. Jacquees, Jacquees, I mean, there's so many amazing talent out there that they could be putting up, and it's like, I don't get it. If you want to be ratchet, save it for Atlanta, for the Hip Hop Awards. But make that platform, go back to the pageantry, the class, the respect, the organization. Show us in a great light, because if everything is ratchet, then then where do we go from there? You know what I'm saying? Where do we go?
Now, you know I gotta ask you. Rap Elvis.
Yeah.
Rap Elvis. So,
Yeah.
let me tell you something. I had the first time, years and years ago, when you had 50 Cent, you had Eminem, you had all these guys, they were on top. And then I heard your diss track. You did, and it seemed like you was kind of riding with Ja Rule a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm like, God.
It was just a coincidence. See, and Ja's my guy, Murding's my guy. But it was like, I had just moved to damn near next door. Like our daughters went to the same school. Their sons, we all, you know what I'm saying? But I moved there, and at the time, see, John 50 was really going through it on some, they all from Queens. They're going through some street shit that happened in Queens. Right. It really wasn't about like rapping beef. That shit started in Queens. It had nothing to do with rap. Right. Me and Eminem just started happening at the same time. It just so happened that M signed 50. I've said it on multiple times. It was, 50 came, when the stuff happened, Ja Rule, I didn't even know Ja. When Ja and 50 beefed at the Hit Factory, when he got stabbed and everything, all that shit happened, he came down to my session. And then I ended up calling him a car service. And that's the first time I've ever met 50. I didn't even know Ja. So, you know what I'm saying? That had already happened. I started getting with Ja later on because I ended up moving to where he was at in Jersey. And I stayed there for a couple of years, and then our kids, you know what I'm saying? And we was, hang out, I went on tour with him. Like, Ja's a great guy, man. He brought me on tour. He didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? And I got close with all his people, his family, you know what I'm saying? But it just so happened that he's beefing with 50, and it just so happened that I'm beefing with Eminem. And see, 50 is gonna, of course he's signed to M, so he's gonna take shots at me. And of course, Ja 50, so M's gonna take shots at Ja. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know what I mean? Because M had nothing to do with John 50's beef. Right. I had nothing to do with John's 50's beef. You know what I'm saying? So I was just shooting at everybody, everyone, GU, everyone.
For me, man, it was like, I respect my man's riding. Whatever he's riding for, he's speaking up. He's riding. He's giving opposition to what was going on. And I thoroughly respected that, man, because a lot of people wouldn't go at this big artist like that, or this superhero. They wouldn't go at him like that.
People would understand that. I was a rapper, an artist, but I also was co-owner of Source magazine. So, there's an element of rapping with battle, going back and forth, making songs back and forth, and that's dope because that's where I came from and that's what hip hop is, right? But then there's the other element of like, okay, I'm from Boston, real racist town. I grew up in a lot of racist situations. And that didn't make me hate white people, because I don't. I love all people. Dave Mays was my brother. Well, for 18 years we was partners. Dave's from D.C., Jewish. Like, you know what I'm saying? We was together for 18 years. We accomplished many things. I got indicted. I mean, I had my kid, like Dave, people don't even know, I made Dave the godfather of Koi. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was there the whole time, you know what I'm saying? When my kids were born and everything. So that's my part of 18 years, and he's white. So like, it don't make sense. Like, what the situation with Eminem was just like, it was bigger than Eminem. And the source side of me was trying to bring that out. And then I'm rapping, he's rapping, I'm rapping. So it's kind of conversion. You know what I'm saying? Because, people at that time, there wasn't a white guy that could spit like that. We ain't heard that. There was some pretty dope groups out there, but even like the Beastie Boys, and I said this before, I never considered Beastie Boys even white. Like, I love the Beastie Boys. We just consider them hip hop and rap. It wasn't a white thing until the guys who got Eminem made it a white thing. The first video was a factory of white guys with blonde hair. You gotta look at the underlying things, just here we come. And that's cool, because white people should be a part of hip hop, because that's what hip hop is. Hip hop brings the cultures together. If you got talent, it was discovered by us, so the respect has to be there. Because the originators, that doesn't mean like anybody's better than anybody. It's just that you gotta respect who the originators are. And that's just natural. That should be a natural human type of trait, to just give the props of the people to pay homage to the culture, especially if you're making zillions of dollars from it, if you are successful from it. So the homage should be there. So, we going battling back and forth, and then the racist tapes pop up from his group. His guys show up at Dave's spot. They show up. 2 white guys, there was 3 of them though. And they show up. I'm in Puerto Rico with Ja, shooting a movie, matter of fact. I was with Ja Rule in Puerto Rico. Matter of fact, I sure was. I flew up the first flight. He was like, yeah, because Dave's like, they're in my office now, and they got a tape, and it's the rap racist hour, and I'm like, oh shit, word? And now we right in the middle of the battle. I said, oh, this is great. So I fly up there, and they in there now. They've been trying to sell the tape for a year for $50,000. And nobody bid on it. They tried to sell it to Irv, and I didn't even know, but Irv didn't bite on it. So we negotiated to $15,000 that night. Then we put him up in a hotel, and that was the last I seen him. We gave him money, and that was the last I seen him.
So is it true that it was a whole hour?
It was an hour, the rap racist hour.
Because I know I heard the one song. I didn't know it was a whole hour.
No, it was a whole bunch of shit. See, we had the tape, and we was gonna shrink wrap it in all the Source magazines, right? But when it first came out, they didn't know what to do. They're like, oh my God. Now they gotta fix this, because they know this is millions and millions and millions of dollars on the line. Okay. So they first they said it wasn't him. Then they came back, it was like, all right, they sued us for copyright infringement. They sued us, right? So when you're suing us, you're admitting it is him, because you're saying it was your copyright, so it's okay, cool. We ended up winning the landmark case. They didn't let us put the whole hour, but they said you could put 30 seconds. So we went through all the songs and grabbed all the illest shit, right? And we shrunk rap, I think, like 1,000 magazines, and we had him on the cover with the black eye and shit. And then we did an extensive investigation on who he was, because nobody really knew who he was and where we came from. So we really did some 2020 shit, Dateline shit, you know what I'm saying? We found out he was from St. Joe's, Missouri. We found out he moved to Warren, Michigan, all right? We found out, you know what I'm saying? And then what the other guys was telling us. And see, where they messed up was they said he was 16, he had a black girlfriend. The other guys was he was in 2021 when he did that. I mean, they told us. Now, if 1 or 2 of those guys is dead now. It's crazy to me, 1 or 2 of them is dead that was there with us, I'm not sure. So it's just, I don't know, bro. It's just like a real weird situation. 22 years later, he makes another song about me and shit. Which to me, I think it was a mistake. I think that he was coming back with new music, and I guess he thought that, okay, the first thing I'm gonna drop is this from Benzino, make a whole song. Because in Kill Shot, he had, at the end of it, he just said, Benzino died. Some crazy, just screamed, crazy shit, like, oh shit, Benzino died. He didn't even rap it. I think he said some shit like, die, Benzino, die. So I was just like, but when I heard this one, he mentioned Coy, I thought that was fucked up. I thought it was fucked up, and then I kind of thought like it was like, damn, Coy, I hope you see, because you know what I'm saying, I hope you see what type of guy this is, because at one point she was like, you know, Eminem's a great artist, but he's, you know what I'm saying, how can he be a great artist if he's disrespecting you? Because I don't, disrespect is disrespect. You don't have to do that. You don't have to disrespect. You know what I'm saying? And so he's disrespectful. That's what he do. He disrespects. You never see him and you never see him anywhere, especially without 100 bodyguards around him and police. So that's cool. That's how he want to live his life. That's fine. Um, but I think he shouldn't have did that. Now he just dropped 2 singles, Houdini and Toby Maguire, and it's not it. Like I think you are witnessing. You are getting ready to witness the end of Marshall Mathers. I really believe that. I believe that. Listen, he could get in with some dope producers and some dope writers and go and make it's not rocket science, but you could tell he just wants to do it his way, and his way is outdated. He don't understand that, and he's not really. And this is, I'm not disrespecting. I'm just telling it what it is. So I'm tired. You know, the fans. Let's just be logical and mature right now. He's in his 50s. He's detached from the culture and the music, not just the raps or the styles, but the beats. You know what I'm saying? So, and he has a huge white following, so that's his bread and butter. So he's in a predicament. He's not going to make money. He knows with the black community, but the white community has a chance. The white community that's been sticking up for him, riding with him, riding with him. Now I think you starting to see like, I can't keep defending because this music just ain't it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we listened to him, me and Swerve, before when we came up here, and I was trying to like it. I was trying to give something, and so I can come here and say something good, but it's like that's not it. That ain't it. That's not what we listening for. That's not the culture right now. Like it might be time to just hang it up. You're filthy rich. Go get another young nigga and put him out there at this point. Get a real label and really pay attention, because all those other artists are gone. You know what I'm saying? So why don't you just, because that happens because all the attention gets paid to him. He sucks all the wind out the room, so nobody else can. So now, now just sit back and be an executive and just really, you know what I'm saying? Go grab it. So many dope Detroit young niggas. Are you kidding me? And Detroit's on fire right now. He should have been grabbed 3 or 4 of them niggas. Big Sean got his. I don't even know who the fuck Baby Tron is, but I know the niggas in Detroit on 7th and 8th and on the east side and what? Yeah, them niggas getting in. And Detroit got a good sound right now. Why wouldn't he go grab a couple of them niggas? A couple of them niggas who already got their social media up and everything. They already doing their own shit. They just need you and a budget to come take them to that next. I don't know.
Speaking of the D, man, when you went out there, that's really what I wanted to get to, man. When you went out to the D, man, was it love?
Man, it's my second home. I've been going to Detroit since '85 with bricks of dope in my drawers. Salute to Pep and YBI. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? We put the Street Lords in years ago in the magazine. R.I.P. the Yacht from the Cheddar Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been fucking with Detroit a long time. You know what I'm saying? So the Eminem thing, I never looked at Eminem as Detroit. When you think Detroit, you think, especially back in the day, Detroit was one of the most lit cities for a black person, if not the lit in the country, where you can go out there and get an amazing job working at the factory, go get a house in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like really have your kids go up to a great school and everything. You could really, and Motown was cracking, all the music was coming from there. Like for a black person, Detroit was the place. You know what I mean? So yeah, it ain't got nothing to do with it. I never looked at M with Detroit. Because Detroit's a black city, like Michigan is a lot of white people, you know what I'm saying? But Detroit, black, you know what I'm saying? So it's almost Taylor 2 type of, you know what I'm saying? And that's not taking nothing from M. If M was around, I was talking to a lot of guys. They was like, look, he used to rap with us and all that. Okay, I respect that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just that the powers that be said, you know what? There's a lot of white people in America who just don't fuck with black people. They don't even live around black people. Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota. These motherfuckers, they ain't even seen a black person in their whole life in some of these places. Let's just face it. There's places around here, they ain't never gonna see a black person. So they don't fuck with us. But if Eminem they'll fuck with him. And but then what you're doing is you're not pushing us now. You know what I'm saying? Like, the idea for hip hop is pushing us because that's what made white people fuck with black people was hip hop. That's what made the youth of white people say, you know what, I can go fuck with niggas. Niggas are cool. I don't know, Uncle Joe, what you say about niggas and all that. He's cool with me. We going to the hip hop club and he's cool with me. You see what I'm saying? Religion didn't even do that. So, shit, you know, I felt like hip hop was ours and we should make it ours, but I felt like they was gonna plant him to divide it. And that's what happened. Can't deny that shit. You know what I'm saying? He was getting special treatment since day one. He was on Eminem. He was on MTV where no niggas was. You know what I'm saying? How does he just get that? He in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame where all kind of motherfuckers wain't in there. Like, come on.
I got two more questions, man. We want to wrap up. Hey, so Prodigy, man. Prodigy.
That's my nigga.
Prodigy. You got give me a story, man. Give me something, man.
Man,
Yeah.
when he died, yo, so I went down there to go see Stevie J in Vegas, and my man Reef picked me up. I didn't know, but there was a concert down there. Ice-T was giving one of them concerts. And I got so many stories when he lived, but I'm gonna just give this one because it was ironic. And I came in and Nori was on. And I was like, Nori's like, yo, what up, what up, what up? So Nori brought me on to do Rock the Party and shit. And then when I was going on the stage, I seen Hav. I was like, Hav, what up? He's like, dog, what up? I was like, where's P? He said he wasn't feeling good. He went to the hospital. I was like, all right. And then that was the night. And man, so when we pulled up, I hear Shook Ones. Because you pull up and the stage is right there. But there's a fence and you can't see nothing. So I'm trying to get into the backstage. So we pulled up. We hear Shook Ones. Yeah, and then there's a video of it where I was like, yeah, we here. But when I went up there, he already left, so he must have been feeling bad. So I heard him on the mic, and I didn't. But that's my little bro. I've known P since '94 when RSO, when I went to Queensbridge, we did the video in Queensbridge with them niggas, and we was cool ever since. Me, him, and Bobby Brown got a song together. Me, P, Brown, and Prodigy. Yo, like, fucked up, man. Not only did we lose, he was a smart dude. People don't understand how intelligent he was, but he really, to me, he's one of the pioneers and legends that kind of turned New York hip hop into that real dark gangster street shit. Because prior to that, it wasn't really that. Before Shook Ones came out.
Right.
Yeah, rest in peace to P.
Prodigy, indeed. All right, hey, so let me ask you, in this climate of the industry, what advice would you give upcoming artists that's trying to get where they trying to go? Who would be some advice?
Don't get nobody pregnant. Number one. That should be the first one. If you ain't got no kids, don't have any. There's no reason. I don't care how good she says she loves you or how beautiful there's no reason. Do not have a kid if you want to be an artist. Yeah. All right, yeah, because see, when you're an artist, anything you get, you want to invest into yourself. When you got a kid, that's gonna take all that away, and it becomes hard. So number one, don't have a kid. Strap up, number one. And number two, you know, my advice, you know what I'm saying, is to take your time before you put anything out and get out there jump out there on the internet with it. You know what I'm saying? Just like kind of like go through a period of time of you learning in studio and rapping and, you know what I'm saying? Even if you think you got it, whatever, there's still something that you got to do before you, to me, I think rushing it, I think prematurely putting stuff out when you're probably not ready, I think that kind of hurts you, can hurt you. And then, I don't know, last but not least, man, just be consistent. And also you have an attitude where you actually support other people, because guarantee the way the universe works, if you don't support other artists, if you think it's all about you, then no one will ever support you just by the way of universe.
I see it all the time. So all the time, yeah. Indeed. Hey, look here, man. Benzino, man, to the honor, my brother.
Oh man, questions are dope, man. I'm glad I did this, man. You say we could talk all day.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back. We gotta do a part.
Appreciate it. All right.
I want to shout you out, man. Thank you for coming out.
Yeah, thank you for having me, brother.
All right, man.
Top Flight TV, baby.